think it's calm.
All good to go.
Yeah, I think the nerves from last time aren't there. You know, last time we
simmered
tried.
down.
It's just a case of, all right, let's get this shit done. I know what I'm doing, kind of. No, I don't know what I'm doing, but I might as well try it because no one does. Anyway, Darius, hello, man.
Hello,
What's going on? You right?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm alive.
Bro, that's the most important thing. Most important thing. Oh yeah, I need to introduce the thing.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Garden of Edun podcast. So this is a podcast myself, the host, Dami Edun, has decided to start. So the aim of this podcast is to plant ideas and grow experiences. What does that sound like? You know what? I'm not even going to lie. I'm just trying to find something that grows. Mainly just people doing shit that they want to do. And that's creative because I know for myself, I blocked myself from trying anything that was creative or anything that was kind of outside the norm for people to do until I decided, okay, I'm just going to give it a shot. Like, fuck it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah. And actually, a lot of people do try and support you. And I'm sure you felt that yourself. And we'll get to you just in a sec while I wrap up the aim of the podcast. So the aim of this podcast is to interview people who are creatives and what do my notes say? I had a really nice defined way of saying it and I've already forgotten it. Right, so that's what it says. I know what it means, but just in a nice way to put it. So the aim of the podcast is to learn from creatives how they found the craft that they ended up putting out to the world, how they hone their skills, how they learn and adapted and changed up their style so that it was, I guess, more consumable and also more authentic to them. And then the challenges and successes that they faced in that journey and probably still face. And I feel like being able to share that with a lot of people will allow them to be more creative and give insight to people like yourself creating art in the world and people like myself who has recently written a book, which I'm sure you hear more about soon. Anyway, my guest today, a very close friend of mine, Mr. Darius Johnson, also known by his more popular name, Xylon Genesis. Xylon, do you want to tell the people listening at home what it is you do, who you are, what brings you to this point in time on the earth? What's going on?
Okay, so I'm a music artist, producer, drummer, and event director.
Jeez. Man, like events director. Come on.
Yeah, man, I've been involved in my craft for over a decade now. Probably even coming up to almost 2.
Jeez. Yeah,
probably. Yeah, time's flying, man. So, yeah. The event stuff, it's been a recent thing. Obviously, I've recently been associated with a company called Lunar Legacy. So yeah, I've been working with them, and we're doing monthly nights, monthly events, open mics, club nights, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, man, like I found a nice little niche there for me to get involved in as well, alongside my music. So
yeah, I mean, from what I know of you, and fortunately, I'm one of your closest friends. I hope so. You better fucking think.
You know you are. What are you talking about?
I know that music is the real big passion, and that's the thing you wanna share to the world, and that's where you really wanna be like masterful in. I know I'm right in saying that. How, like, so if we go back to, like, scrape away the 2 decades and go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
What was it that made you realize you wanted to because I mean, everyone pretty much enjoys music.
Of course, yeah.
If you don't, then I don't know if that's like a non-human thing. It's really weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
Probably could be.
Yeah.
What was the first point where you were like, oh shit, this is kind of what I want to do? I don't want to just consume music. I want to be able to create and make it and put my own flavor on it. What was that point like for you, and where did that start?
Well, the thing is, I've been born into a musical family. My parents, they've both played an instrument. My brother, he taught me how to play the drums in the first place.
Yeah.
Taught me how to produce. Taught me to rap. He
taught
me everything. Basically, he literally he showed me the ropes, man. And like, obviously, upon like being surrounded in that environment, I just thought, okay, like, you know, I enjoy this. And obviously, if my family do, it's like something that's innate. I felt like it was innate.
Right. Okay. So it didn't feel like it was not necessarily forced upon you, but it was within you. I don't know, genetically coded. I don't know what the right way to say it is, but that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like just my passion took me in that direction of, you know, I want to produce new musical content in any way that I can possibly bring myself to do so. And as a result, no matter what craft I go into musically, I will always try my best to experiment with loads of different genres, different styles of music. Even when I went to uni, I did my music production and business degree.
Yeah.
And that was quite creative because, you know, we had modules where we had to make a song out of a recording, like entire recordings. And
what do you mean by that? So like for someone who's maybe not in the music world, let's imagine there's someone who's listening who is kind of interested in music. Let's say maybe they're in their late teens, or maybe even mid-teens, and they're kind of interested in music. If you were going to speak to a level where they'd understand that, what would that be?
So what I did for that module, I grabbed my phone, pressed record, and travelled home from uni. And I recorded the whole journey home. And then when I got to my Mac at home, I put that recording into Logic, the editing software, chopped it all up, and made a track out of it.
Wait, you made a track? So is this you recording just random
like
people
coughing on the train, the Oyster card noise, I'll turn it into like a little melody. Me coming into the door, like the rattling of the keys, all of that was included. It was all included. So yeah, man, that was really cool to get involved.
Bro, that's actually mad, you know.
Yeah, man, for sure.
You're making beats out of that.
Yeah, I made a whole beat out of it, man. Obviously, it's not out there. It's not out there. It's in my archive. So you know, drop a DM if you want to.
I mean, he's my boy, so he's allowed to plug himself. Anyone who's sitting opposite me, go plug Yeah. Wow, man, that's actually mad.
Yeah, man.
So before you did that at uni, was that something that was part of your creative process? Or let's even ask the question, okay, was it part of your creative process? And did you have a creative process that you followed before you went to uni where maybe they gave you kind of a guideline that then has allowed you to develop one now? Did you have one before?
You mean in order to get to the uni point? As in like...
Maybe to get there, or maybe just even before that, did you just have one anyway in general?
To be honest, I believe I was winging it through the whole of school. My school days, I was just taking what tickled my fancy, what I felt I was more passionate about. Because if there was a subject that I wouldn't be interested in, I would naturally tune out. It would just not be something that I would take. I wouldn't force myself to study something that I wasn't interested in.
Yeah.
And if there was something I was interested in, I put my all into it and it would just take me. And that's where I felt it led me to the direction it did.
Sorry. Just want to set this time.
No worries.
I might cut that out. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, sorry, bro.
So yeah. I'm train of thought now. Yeah, so literally,
you were talking about how at school you
just
you tuned out of certain things.
Yeah, basically like there were just like subjects that just wasn't for me. I knew they weren't for me, and people know these things, but they don't really follow through because, when you're in school, you don't really know exactly what you're going to be doing with your life. You're just thinking, there's all these subjects being thrown at me. I need to be good at everything. And then when life hits me, I'll be prepared for everything. But it just wasn't the case for me. For me, I just felt like music is the direction and you just go. And it just took me. It just took me in the direction where I am today.
So it was a deep, burning passion and desire for it. 100%. So it wasn't something that you kind of discovered later. Because for me, so one of the things that I'm quite creative at is writing and storytelling. Definitely telling audio. Jeez. The amount of stories I tell, fucking hell. But the writing process actually, or just writing stories, I only realized that for myself later on in my life. And it was actually through, one day I was going through old stuff in my house. I was having to clean out, when you're looking around like, shit, there's stuff here from when I was 9-10 years old. I need to do a clean out. And so in that process of cleaning out my room, I found all these old books that I used to either do like some drawings in or just random shit. But one of the things I noticed a lot was I was writing stories. Now, the trend that I found was that as I was writing these stories, I never finished them. I'd always do like one chapter or two chapters, and then it was done.
Yeah. And
after seeing that I did that as a kid, I thought, okay, well, I was, 7, 8 when I did that, maybe 6. And when you're a kid, there's so many things you could do. The fact that I chose to write must be saying something.
100%.
And that was when I realized. So for me, I wouldn't necessarily say it was a burning passion. So from that, swing back to you now. For people who want to start dabbling in music and maybe creating art through musical talents that they might possess, do you think it's something that has to be a deep burning desire, or do you think that somebody who may be interested in it as an art can then learn how to produce that and produce it at a good quality that they will like first and foremost, and that maybe other people will resonate with and think is good?
I'd say it's few and far between because, you get people that get that random urge to come up with this song that somehow just happens to be a one-hit wonder. And
do you have any examples of that actually? Because I can't think of any to mind
off the top of my head.
30 comes fast.
I mean, kind of.
No, track's dead.
I mean, that's not. I don't even think that was his doing.
Right, probably.
I feel like someone came up to him and was like, you know what? I want to make a track out of what you've done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's kind of different. But even with like, that song Ransom? It's an American track by, what's his face? Can't remember the name. That song is, I got black, I got white, what you want? What you love in the fan of, I'm about to blow.
No,
You don't know that tune?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that was an American tune, but it's one guy that, like,
what's the artist's name?
I completely forgot.
From one hit wonder then, innit?
But like, I remember he posted this video on his Instagram from 1 year ago, and then he did the same video a year later from how far the track has gone.
Right.
Sorry, that's completely incorrect.
Oh, that's
actually Lil Nas X.
Raw. Oh, Lil Nas X is a good case study for.
Lil Nas X, he did that video from 1 year ago to now, and 1 year ago video, he said, oh, he had like 30k like subscribers or something to that thing, like 5-figure likes, subscribers, all that kind of stuff. A year later, it was in millions. And he's got his like big white fur jacket on. It says Boston though.
So it's not the ransom guy.
No, the ransom guy. Why did I come across? I came across that documentary somewhere, but I know he's got well. From what I know, I believe that is a one-hit wonder. But he might come back and give us something else. Who knows? But as far as I know for now, I don't know where he got his musical interest from, but it did seem like it was just like plucked out of a tree, if that makes sense.
Right. Just came from nowhere. He got an inspiration and he just started spitting on some beats.
I could be completely wrong and getting complete like...
we'll find out. If anyone in the comments knows the real story and is like, Darius, you're fucking full of shit, gonna DM you like, you're a prick. Like, why are you spreading fake news,
I know, I'm gonna get schooled, but...
Nah, don't worry, I have your back, bro. Always.
So good.
So good. I'm joking. You know what? One person does come to mind. And it's not someone that I've necessarily followed, but I read about their story recently. I think it's not Billie Eilish. I don't know her story. The chick who did the Dancing Monkey story, song. You know the Dancing Monkey?
I know nothing about that.
Dance Monkey, here I am.
Ain't got a clue.
Bro, I thought you knew that tune.
No.
Okay.
Is it recent?
I mean, for people watching and listening, it's a tune that I think it came out a year ago. Okay. Some Australian chick. So basically, I think she recorded her first song ever on a mic. She said like a shitty microphone that she got from, what's the place that you trade in stuff? Like you trade in items and you get something back. Not like it's like a pawn shop, but it's a brand. So there's one on the Heathway. Okay. Dagenham Heathway, there's a shop. Cash converters. Okay, yeah. She said she bought a mic from there. So and recorded her first song in it, and then she started busking, just started busking.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then someone heard her song, and then it just, bruv, it's like viral, fam. The streams on it, I'm even gonna look now. I'm gonna find this chick.
That's crazy.
So she's just out here busking in Melbourne and Sydney, I think. This chick, I ain't gonna play her song because I don't want it. I don't want this thing to get taken down, bro.
Yeah, I hear it.
As soon as it loads, I'll be able to show you. But the numbers on it are mad. And this is from a girl who, a few months before the song blew, she was busking just on the streets, doing that full time, bro. And from what I remember from her story, she discovered that art late, and that could also be fake news. But from what I remember, it was late. So, I mean, but because you're a musician, I'm not. So, bruv, I always listen to some of these tunes, and I just think, bruv, I wish I was a barrer, you know. I wish I could just sit down hour, write some bars, and just go ham on a beat. I wish I could. I wish.
Why? What stops you from feeling that you're able to do so?
Because I don't have the lyrical skill like that. I just don't.
Have you tried?
I wouldn't say I've tried.
There you go.
No, I wouldn't say I've like tried like properly. Yeah. I would say, this thing's just not loading. Let's try it here. Again. Here we go. It's 864 mil. Streams. That's a
Why
big
don't
tune.
I know the tune?
You've probably heard it on Nights
I
Out or
might
something.
have,
It's
I
one
might
of them ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wish that I was a barrers. Like I could write bars and go ham on a beat and people be like, that was cool. But I can't. So what I do is I channel that energy through MCs that I like and I just learn their bars and spit them with venom. But I always think, I wish I could do it. So for a musician who's actually been doing it for years, I'm curious and there might be someone you never know who's watching and thinking, if I have that feeling that I could do it, but I've only felt it and I'm 22 years old and I've only felt that push now. So my question to you is, as someone who's been doing it for a while and from what you've seen, obviously we had some examples of people who've kind of done it, but in your opinion, what do you think? Do you think it's something that someone who newly discovers that fire could do?
I just think with the right mentor and the right research and the right passion, it will all just come hand in hand.
Okay.
I do feel that, some people, they do have that natural gift and, they can just lay it down. But I know some people will come with a lot more effort, a lot more time. But I feel like anyone can get there if they have the correct passion, the correct drive, the correct determination to do so. Yeah, man. And if you want to spit bars, I'll help you out, man.
Nah, I can't be having a ghostwriter.
No, it's not about ghostwriting. This is about telling you that the ropes, what you need to know in order to go down that route. Because obviously you're saying I've always wanted to express myself in that way.
Yeah.
And I would want to help to get that out of you because I'm that guy. I would like to if you want to do it, I will help you do it.
I know, bro. I know, man. You're very supportive with all the efforts that us guys do with whatever passions we have or whatever things we want to do. I know that, but well, firstly, I don't know if I could do it from what I've tried to do on my own, and then the second thing is I don't want smoke, fam. You know how sometimes in the rap thing, because some of the tunes that I want to embody are just smoke. And I know I'm not that guy.
Cool, you think you're going to get moved to?
I know I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might get moved to, but, I'll try to handle it. But, obviously, there's wild dons out there, and you might say the wrong thing. But the thing is, I love the energy of that. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. There's probably quite a lot of people who do love the energy, but I wish I could bring that energy, come on stage chatting bare gas.
That DWE energy. I hear you.
You know what? Yeah.
Oi,
imagine if I could get DWE in the tape. That would be sick.
I might have to sort that out.
Hey, what? My guy Darius. Nah. But we're going to see him, aren't we?
Yeah.
In a few
100%.
couple months. Bro, I watched a video of his. I shouldn't really say this, but I put it on at work, innit? I didn't watch it, but I had it on in the background. He was performing something from Jacket. Yeah. His latest album from September 2018, I think. Yeah. Bruh. I've already seen him live perform the album, and I was listening to it at work, and I wanted to, I wanted to flip my fucking desk. I wanted to flip my desk. I just wanted to.
Yeah, man. 100%.
Yeah, fam.
I can't wait. The vibes. I can't even.
And yeah, in terms of creative, fucking hell. I think just as a case study of people who may be concerned about their own individual flavor, he is a guy who from day dot to now, he kept that original flavor. And it's working now. You can see, we've spoken about it as well before.
His It's blossoming now. It's blossoming. People thought it was blossoming back in the day, but now it's his time. Now it's his time for sure. Like, you see him everywhere nowadays.
It's like everything he touches turns to double.
That's a sick one. That's hard. But yeah, man, now's the time for sure.
So, yeah, shout out to D-Double as well, man. Fucking hard MC, best in the scene probably. Hope he jumps into this war going on between Storms and Wiley. But anyway, I want to
shout out to Dan as well, the manager.
Dan, okay, nice little shout. I don't know who Dan is, but shout out to Dan. Yo, you've opened man up to the world 100%. Still. Anyway, so just want to go back to when you're a bit younger, and honing your craft. So obviously, I know you said that you, with your family and with your brother especially, you had a lot of influence to encourage you to jump into music. If you could tell me like about the first time when you tried, and then more specifically how you started honing your skills and what exactly you were doing to hone it, so that somebody potentially watching again who is in the phase of wanting to do that could decide, all right, cool, I can try these things to get better, or try these things to see if I'm any good. What did you do?
So there's this thing about creatives where they make something, they're proud of it, and then the next day they think it's the worst thing they've ever made. So
yeah,
that being the premise as to which a creative lives off, it's just a natural case of honing your skill, because you always think you can do better. Every time you make something, you think, I can do better than this, and then you try to do better, and it just happens every time. With it, it's happened to me since I've started getting involved with this whole music thing. Like, there's times where I make something, the next day I think, man, that's cheesy as fuck. I need to make something that, like, it always happens, always. Even like, obviously, I released a freestyle recently, and like, at first, like, I had it on repeat because I was like, I've improved.
I've gone in. I'm
gonna gas myself.
I've shelved it down. Yeah. I mean, I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah, man. And then after time, you start to think, okay, wait, I think I can actually do better than this. Like, after time, you're just thinking, I don't know. You just always want to improve. It's just that drive in you to just like be better than you are. And
that's on the top level, like mentality. And I understand you, especially, you know, like I said before, in the book writing process, it was that you write something, you go back over it, it's not as good. And then sometimes you look at the whole piece of work you produced and you're like, not sure. But then, those moments where you feel yourself like, bruv, when I read one chapter, I was like, this thing, if it connects, wow. But away from that mentality thing, what did you actually do? Like, what did you actually
What actions did I take?
So what actions did you take? Like, what kind of things were you doing to hone your skill? Rather than just the mentality, which is important, what did you do?
I studied the greats, man. Studied the greats.
From young?
Well, from young, it would be the music that I enjoyed most.
Right.
Back when I was younger, I was inspired by like crunk music. I had a massive Lil Jon phase. Oh
yes, I found out about that recently in the trial podcast we tried to do.
Yeah, a crazy Lil Jon phase, and like I was just vibing off that energy and all that kind of stuff. And then like over time, like you start to. Like when you start to think, oh, I want to make a career out of what I'm doing, you got to look at the people who's making the money, the people who are at the top, who's relevant, who's current. I mean, you just got to see what they're doing, see what angle they're coming from, and you don't necessarily have to imitate it, but you adapt it into your craft and authenticate it as well. And that's one thing I've been focusing on a lot.
Right.
Even
so, all right. From that, so you have the research, let's say, which informs you on how or what kind of styles to make, how you kind of interweave that with where society is in terms of making a living, let's say, based on career.
Yeah.
But actually, when we get down to the nitty gritty, like the actual creating of the art, what were you doing? Like, what actions were you taking specifically when you were creating the music? So let's say you get home one day, let's say you're like 13, 14, you get home from school after, I don't know, Miss XYZ told you some bullshit for the whole day that you had to listen to. You sit down and you think, all right, I want to make moves towards making a tune. What do you do?
I would say 7 times out of 10, nothing happens. You'd sit down and then writer's block would come at you and then you'd be like, okay, I want to write, but I've got nothing that is winning me over.
That's a good point to make, actually, because I think a lot of people might judge themselves for having writer's block. I know